Most people think they know what Iceland looks like. Glaciers, volcanoes, a land of extremes. But look longer, and the colors begin to speak. A place where color defies expectation. Rivers turn gold under evening light. There are beaches here that shine black as obsidian, shaped by waves that never stop. Icebergs drift ashore in fragments, clear as glass, scattering across the sand like fallen stars. Crater lakes shift from blood red to cobalt blue. Sulfur hills glow yellow at sunrise. Moss grows in shades so green they seem painted. Nowhere else does the earth reveal so many colors without human touch. They are formed by pressure, temperature, minerals, and motion. No design, no illusion, just nature, untouched and exact. This is the other Iceland, the one shaped by eruption and erosion, silence and surge. Where the land wears every chapter it has lived, layered, cracked, and glowing from within. And it begins not with fire, but with water. Far in the east, meltwater from distant glaciers gathers into a river. In certain light, it runs golden, thick with minerals and glacial silt. There are no monuments along its banks, no villages, just the soft glow of the current, and the feeling that even here at its most still, the land is waiting to change again. As the terrain begins to fold and tighten again, a hidden corridor of basalt reveals itself, quiet, steep, and unexpectedly precise. Stuðlagil Canyon lies far from Iceland's main roads, carved by the Jökulsárlón River through thousands of columns of volcanic stone. Each pillar seems carefully placed, as if arranged by hand, but their origin is older than memory. Formed by cooling lava and sculpted by water, the canyon is a rare combination of violence and symmetry. For years, it lay underwater. The river flowed high and fast, But after a hydroelectric dam diverted its course, the valley emerged column by column, wall by wall. Now, turquoise water runs calmly between the walls, and moss clings to the vertical edges. The scale is not overwhelming. Instead, it invites stillness. There are no sounds beyond wind and current. No paths marked on the stone, only the rhythm of erosion and the silence of a land slowly exposing itself. Not far from here, the earth breaks open again, but not with water. Near Lake Mývatn, sulfur rises in thick white clouds. The ground shifts in color: yellow, red, ochre, gray. This is Hverir, a geothermal field unlike any other. Boiling mud pools churn just beneath the surface. Fumaroles hiss and exhale steam that tastes of minerals. The ground here is alive, not metaphorically, but in pressure, in heat, in breath. Footprints leave no mark, but shoes collect the scent of the soil. There are no trees, no grass, no sound but wind and steam. The air is heavy with weightless heat. It is one of the few places where the earth feels visibly awake. Farther inland, the land grows darker. Greens fade into grays. Vegetation thins. The air turns dry, the silence deeper. Then, suddenly, the ground opens wide. This is Askja, a vast volcanic caldera hidden in the Icelandic highlands. Its name means box, but there is nothing contained about it. Formed by eruption, collapse, and centuries of weather, Askja is a place where the earth seems to have imploded in on itself. It is not a ruin, it is a reminder. A deep crater lake rests inside it, Öskjuvatn. Black cliffs rise above its edges, and snow lingers into midsummer. In 1907, two scientists set out to cross the lake by boat and were never seen again. No storm, no sound, only still water and vanishing. Nearby lies Raudaskál, a rust-colored crater shaped like a bowl. Its sides glow deep red under Iceland's low sun, a result of oxidized iron. And just beyond it, Ljótipollur, the ugly puddle, a name that deceives. Set into a ridge of volcanic debris, this crater lake is one of Iceland's most startling sights. Water, the color of ink, slopes layered in crimson and ash. No vegetation, no explanation. Each of these places formed during eruptions, but none feel violent now. The wind has shaped them gently, and time has softened the scars. What's left are outlines of energy held, then spent, a landscape of restraint. No guideposts lead here, no buildings interrupt the horizon, just Earth recovering from what it once unleashed. To the west of Dimmuborgir, the lava becomes gentler but no less vast. This is Eldraun, the fire lava. It spreads over 500 square kilometers, the result of a single eruption that lasted for 8 months in 1783. The eruption was part of the Laki fissure, one of the most devastating in Iceland's history. Ash darkened the skies over Europe. Crops failed, livestock died, a quarter of Iceland's population was lost. But here, the scars have been covered in moss, thick, pale green, and soft to the touch. The moss drapes over the rocks like fabric. It hides the sharpness of the stone, but not the weight of what happened. To walk here is to move over a battlefield of earth and time, quiet now, but never entirely still. No trails are marked. The moss is protected, fragile. Each step is a reminder that healing is delicate. that even after centuries, the ground remembers. Farther north, fire still breathes just beneath the surface. This is Krafla, a volcanic system active for millennia. It last erupted in the 1980s, but its energy never left. Steam rises from vents in the hillside. The smell of sulfur hangs in the air. The ground, warm underfoot, cracks with thin crusts of salt and heat. In the center sits Víti, a crater lake named Hell. Its waters, turquoise and still, fill the hollow left by an explosion. Because here, creation and destruction feel the same. Around it, vents hiss quietly. Fumaroles line the path, and in the distance, turbines spin, tapping geothermal power from the land's unrest. Krafla is not dormant. It simply waits, and in the waiting, it speaks. Not in flame, but in steam. Not in eruption, but in warmth rising through stone. Across the southeast, the horizon turns white. Peaks disappear behind walls of ice, and what lies beneath the surface becomes more powerful than what's seen. Vatnajökull, Europe's largest ice cap, stretches across volcanoes, still waiting to rise again. Beneath this glacier, fire sleeps. The weight of centuries presses down on calderas and magma chambers, holding them quiet, and for now. When eruptions do come, they do not begin with fire, but with water. Floods burst from the glacier's edge, sudden, violent, and unannounced. The Icelandic word is jökulhlaup, a glacial outburst flood. Not a myth, but a regular memory. This is a landscape made not by choice, but by collision. Volcanic heat rising into frozen weight. A balance measured in silence and force. West of the glacier, the land narrows into ridgelines etched in color. Grænihryggur, the Green Ridge, appears without warning in the highlands of Landmannalaugar. It cuts through black and red slopes like a line painted with care, bright, mineral green, almost luminous against the darker earth. The ridge was formed by rhyolite lava, rich in silica, shaped by geologic tension and slow erosion. It's not the tallest or widest formation, but few match its clarity. Moss grows only in places where steam once passed. Snow collects in the hollows, but vanishes by midday. There are no monuments here, but the land itself feels marked. And in the quiet between the peaks, it's easy to feel that this green thread wasn't formed by time, but left behind by something time couldn't erase. Closer to the coast, the land softens. Lava gives way to steam, and the ground begins to glow, not with light, but with warmth. Near the Reykjanes Peninsula, the surface breaks open into a basin of pale blue water, mineral-rich, opaque, and still. It's known today as the Blue Lagoon, but its origins are accidental. Decades ago, nearby geothermal plants released runoff into the lava fields. No one expected the water to stay, but it pooled, it cooled, and it settled into something permanent. Silica and sulfur filled the cracks. Heat rose from beneath. Soon, people began to bathe in the pools, drawn to its warmth in a land defined by cold. It is not a natural spring, but it behaves like one. Each year, the water renews itself. The steam blends with Iceland's wind. The surface reflects a color that belongs only here. For many, it has become a destination. But beneath the surface, the story remains the same water, shaped by fire, held in stone. Farther inland, that contrast deepens. In the east, the land opens again into the wide, glacial-carved Fljótsdalur Valley. A place where rivers thread through meadows and mist clings to the slopes. Along the southern coast, the cliffs grow sheer and the land ends without warning. Wind moves faster here, shaped by open ocean and unbroken distance. A narrow headland rises from the shoreline, arched, wind-carved, and exposed. This is Jökulsárlón. The name means Door Hill Island, taken from the sea arch that cuts through the rock. Waves strike the base with slow rhythm. Birds gather above in restless spirals, kittiwakes, puffins, fulmars, drawn to the shelter of the cliffs. In the past, this was a volcanic island. Today, it's part of the mainland, linked by black sands and lava plains. But the shape still carries its origin, a ridge of fire, cooled and hollowed by time. The sea continues to shape it. Each season, the cliffs erode. Each tishie, the beach shifts. Just below Jökulsárlón, the shoreline expands into something stranger. The beach at Raudaskál stretches wide, black, and smooth. Formed from basalt sand, ground fine by centuries of waves, it absorbs light and sound alike. Here the ocean does not sparkle, it roars. Offshore, the Raudaskál sea stacks rise from the surf, tall, dark pillars that catch the wind and mist. Legends say they were trolls, frozen by sunlight as they tried to drag a ship to shore. But geology tells another story of lava and erosion, shaped by waves more patient than storms. Visitors come for the contrast, the black sand, the white foam, the gray sky. But what remains most vivid is the sense of movement, slow, endless, and indifferent. This coastline does not preserve, it reshapes. And just inland, moss returns to stone and the land begins again. East of the valleys and far from the coast, a red stripe appears on a distant cliff, narrow at first, almost invisible. Then taller, deeper, and unmistakable. This is Hengifoss, one of Iceland's tallest waterfalls. It drops from a high plateau in a single silver column, nearly 130 meters down, framed by basalt cliffs banded with iron-red clay. The layers tell a story older than water. They speak of eruptions and sediment, of oceans that came and went, of forests buried beneath lava long before Iceland took the shape it holds now. At the base, the spray is constant, not violent, but steady. Each rock below is worn smooth, each pool carved by repetition. Few trees grow nearby, but grass follows the river as it descends, winding slowly through the valley it shaped over thousands of years. In the north, the water gathers again, but differently. Mývatn, the Lake of Midges, sits in a region shaped almost entirely by volcanic energy. Its shores are lined with pseudo-craters, false calderas formed not by eruption, but by steam explosions beneath ancient lava. The lake is shallow, rich in minerals, and full of life. In summer, birds arrive in thousands. In winter, the surface freezes, but geothermal heat still moves below. The name reflects the insects that hover above its still surface. But what remains longest is not their sound, but the shape of the land around it. Each hill, each ridge, each cave was made by tension, lava cooled by water, stone shaped by collapse. Westward, that erosion sharpens. Near the highlands, a narrow canyon opens into view, green walls rising on either side, veined with moss and shadow. Feather River Canyon. Formed at the end of the last ice age, it was cut by a glacier-fed river into soft rock left behind by volcanic flow. The canyon winds for 2 kilometers, curving gently, its shape more like a ribbon than a ravine. There are no fences, no explanation, just the sense of something long hidden, now revealed. Mist hangs in the air most mornings. Water moves quietly over the rocks. The land seems untouched, but never unformed. Near the edge of Vatnajökull, where the glacier meets the plain, the land begins to crack and shine. Small lakes appear, then widen. Ice floats past in silence, pale blue and weightless. This is Jökulsárlón, the Glacial Lagoon. It did not exist a century ago. The lake formed as the Raudaskál glacier began to retreat, leaving behind water deep and cold enough to hold pieces of itself. Now, icebergs drift slowly through the lagoon, their edges smoothed by melt and time. Some are white, others are almost transparent. A few carry streaks of volcanic ash, held within the ice like forgotten messages. The current pulls them toward the sea. At high tide, they stall near the mouth of the lagoon. At low tide, they vanish. It is not a static place. The glacier continues to move. The lagoon deepens. Each visit, the shape has changed. Only the silence stays the same. Inland, the color returns. In the highlands of the interior, rhyolite slopes rise in bands of red, yellow, green, and gray. Steam curls from shallow vents. Snow collects in valleys that stay hidden until you reach their edge. This is Landmannalaugar, the people's pools. The name comes from the natural hot springs that collect at the base of the lava field. For centuries, travelers crossing the highlands stopped here, some to bathe, others to rest, many simply to listen. The hills were formed by volcanic eruption, shaped by wind and softened by rain. But the colors remain drawn from the minerals within the stone and revealed only in light. There are few buildings here, few roads, but the paths are known, worn by those who came before and never hurried. In summer, the sun sets late, casting long shadows across the ridgelines. In winter, the hills disappear beneath snow, and the springs steam like breath from the earth itself. Landmannalaugar is not remote because of distance, but because it asks for patience. To walk here is not to cross land, but to move through time. Beyond the craters, the highlands give way to black sand and twisted lava. But in the midst of it, water returns rushing, splitting, and falling in twin streams that meet again below. This is Hjalparfoss, set among basalt columns and ancient lava flows. It is not the tallest waterfall in Iceland, nor the most visited. But it holds a different kind of significance. Its name means helping falls. In earlier centuries, it marked a place of relief where travelers crossing the barren Springasander desert found water, grass, and rest for their horses. The falls pour between jagged stone, shaped by volcanic flow and centuries of freezing spray. The sound is steady, not overwhelming. It fills the space without breaking its stillness. Even today, the surrounding basin feels like a pause in the land, a breath between eruptions and silence. To the north lies a stranger terrain, Dimmuborgir, the dark castles. Lava once flowed here in waves, trapped beneath a lake that later vanished in steam. What remains are twisted towers, arched walls, and hollow chambers, structures not built, but left behind by fire. The formations rise like ruins from another time, as if shaped by forgotten hands. Some resemble collapsed fortresses, others petrified trees. No pattern, no repetition, just the chaos of nature pretending to be design. Icelandic folklore says this was a gateway to hell. Some believe the Yule lads' mischievous figures from winter legends lived among the pillars. Others that this was where Satan fell to earth. But standing here, it's hard to think of names or stories. The shapes defy memory. Shadows stretch across the blackened ground. Wind moves through the hollows. And somewhere inside it, the mountain still remembers what it once did. Far from the coasts where tourists gather at known landmarks lies a valley that does not rise, but opens. This is Pingvellir. To the unknowing eye, it may seem like a wide plain framed by cliffs, but look closely, and you see the land is not whole. It is divided. Deep cracks stretch across the surface, not made by water, but by the slow drift of continents. Here, the North American and Eurasian plates pull away from each other, not in sudden violence, but in quiet persistence. The Rift Valley widens year by year, as if the island itself is still learning how to stand. Across this island, nothing stands still. The ground moves, water shifts, ice melts, then returns. Fire waits beneath the surface. From the highlands to the sea, Iceland is not a collection of landscapes. It is a conversation between them. Each place shaped not by isolation, but by what came before. Lava shaped by snow, rivers by heat, silence by eruption. The Yellow River of the East carries meltwater from glaciers that have existed for millennia, threading through valleys split by tectonic drift. At Thingvellir, the land does not just hold history, it records movement, slow, deliberate, and constant. In the highlands, craters like Askja and Ljótipollur do not just mark the past, they measure it. Hengifoss, Mývatn, Grænihryggur. Their names carry meaning, but their presence speaks louder. They are not symbols. They are reminders. In places like Dimmuborgir and Eldrun, fire once tore through the earth. In others, like Vatnajökull and Snæfellsjökull, ice was above it. At Raudaskál, the sea undoes what volcanoes have built. At Þórsmörk, the land protects what would otherwise be erased. None of these places stand alone. Each is part of a single movement, slow, immense, and unfinished. And in the spaces between, where moss returns to stone and mist clings to empty ridges, Iceland continues to become itself. Not a place made to be understood at once, but one that remembers what it is, even when no one is looking.